really appreciate you all being here. This means so much to me. I cannot thank you enough. Are you ready to read a book? I know I am. Your support means everything to me. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Considering the sexy scenes he's read, totally 18 plus. Don't you know who you're talking to?
Daddy. Strength to hold in what is trying to get out. Okay. Temptation.
He lowers himself down between my legs and watches me closely as he pushes himself inside me. I cry out, moaning with pleasure, uncaring how feral and out of control I sound. Kyle moves slowly at first, kissing me so softly that I feel like I might explode. Then he pulls back and slams into me hard.
I shall save you all from spiders. I'm an expert trapper and releaser. That's so sweet that you release them. I murder them.
Well, hello. Good evening. It's great to see you all. I just realized my camera is really small. I have grown. Hello, newbie. It's great to have you in. I hope you had a wonderful day. And Anonymous. Excuse me. Thank you for gifting a sub to Purple. Mamaud. Whoever you are, that was really kind of you. And of course, Purple. Good to see you. Hello. Nice shirt, big man. Yeah, I haven't worn this one on stream in a while, so I thought, you know what? I should. So I did. There you go. That's the story. Gosh darn it. My throat has been fine all day until right now. And hi, Killa. Enjoy your stream. Killa is streaming right now, folks. She's playing Dead Island 2. She's slicing and dicing. So definitely go say hi. And Kay's here. Hi, Kay. I don't know if Killa can hear me, but she missed a spot. So, yeah. Oh, I think she can hear me. She just reacted. That was just a test. That was just a test. See, I've got both my monitors up so I can keep an eye on people. Yes. Anyway. Hug. You hugged. Yeah, why isn't Stream Elements... Hold on. Let me just double check that... Well, it says I'm live. Let me just do a quick refresh, because sometimes refreshing will help. Unless Stream Elements is just super behind today, which it very well might be. Stream Elements does that from time to time. Yes. Anyway, hold on. Okay. Hopefully that'll be the end of my clearing of the throat. It's been a weekend. It really has. Yeah. Friday night, I got to hang out with an IRL friends of mine, and we went and saw The Marvels, and it was marvelous. You see what I did there? Combined the two. So that was a great time. Saturday night, I went and saw Friday Night at Freddy's. Not scary. At all. Not gonna ruin anything in case someone wants to watch it, but it's not scary. I was expecting to be scared, but I was not. And by the way, if any of you are parents to teenagers, like early teens or preteens, please teach them some movie etiquette and respect, because I almost went to jail. I kid you not. There was these like 5 or 6 joys that were sitting a couple of rows in front of me after bouncing around the theater before they figured out where they wanted to sit, even though it's assigned seating. But that's, whatever. And they were chatting the whole time. So at one point, I went, shh, to tell them to hush up. I paid to listen to the movie, not to them. And they eventually did, sort of. But then after the movie, they were out in the hallway, and I was walking by them because I was going to go to the bathroom. And after I walked by, they're all like, shh, 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 shh. And then, as I'm walking into the bathroom, I'm pretty sure one of them tried spitting towards me, like in my general direction. And I swear, I almost... I've never wanted to hurt a child until that moment. But I didn't. I behaved. I should have waited outside the theater, because they were again waiting by the front door, which I again had to walk past them. I should have waited outside for their mommy or daddy to show up, and then I could have explained to the parent how much of a wonderful kid they had. Or kids.
Yep.
Whatever.
That tasted purple.
But anyway, that's my rant over. So that was Saturday evening. And then today we went to a women's wrestling meet. And it was fine. I've never been to a wrestling meet before, so I wanted to try it out, especially with it being university level. I don't know if I'll go back. It wasn't that exciting for me, unfortunately. But it was a good experience. And then I came home, rested for a little bit. I played a little bit more of Rage 2, just to, do some pew-pews. Made dinner for everybody. And then here I am. So yeah, that was a little bit about my weekend. Hopefully you all have had a good weekend as well. And Mitchell, good job claiming first. Amlas, hello. Great to see you. How are the kidneys? Well, thankfully it's just the left kidney that's giving me a problem, and it still is very much a problem. I don't even have an appointment yet to go meet with the stone specialists to figure out next steps. Last night, after I got home from the movie, I should have just gotten straight into the bathtub to help give me some relief. But I didn't, because I've been taking a bath almost every night for weeks on end, and I'm just getting so tired of taking a bath every night. So I just decided not to, and it was a terrible mistake, because I was just miserable the whole night. It was just a bad night, honestly. It was not fun. So it was a bit of a rough night, but tonight I've already got clean shorts waiting for me in the bathroom. So as soon as I get off stream, that's where I'm going. So yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. But yeah. But tonight, enough about me. Tonight we start a brand new book, and I'm very excited. We've read from this author before, and we had a good time with the last book. It ended with such a cool little, I'm trying to remember the last line, but it was basically like she stuck it to the boyfriend, basically. So I'm very excited to get back into another read of Jennifer's. She plans on being here tonight, so that'll be exciting as well. It's nice when the author shows up. As you all know, we love that. Alas, would a heat pad help instead of baths? So, yes and no. A heating pad can help a little bit, but the thing about a bath, and I don't really understand why, I think it's the lack of pressure that's happening on my back, on my body, because you're just, submerged in it, where with a heating pad, you have to have it pushed up against you and actually, doing that whole thing. So there's something about the difference between the two that helps. There you go. That's my scientific explanation. Yes. So !virus will get you the author link to this book and many more, might I add. And I couldn't find a virus specific puzzle. But I did find a nice cozy fall kind of thing. So there you go. Yeah. And that's what I got. Your title made me think you had COVID. Good. I was going for something like that. Hey, Stan Papa. How you doing? I hope you enjoy playing, is it Small World? I think it's called. And oh my gosh, there's a Rexter in the house. My dude. Oops, sorry, just... not too bad. Yep, small lands, not small world. Small lands. I knew there was a small thing. It's a good time. How you doing? I'm doing all right. Glad to be back. On Thursday, I enjoyed playing Rage 2 on stream, but I just don't think playing a game on stream is my thing, Hi, Zombie. Thank you for the lurk. Miss you, my friend. Like, gaming's fun, and I enjoy doing it, like, in Discord and chatting with other people, but I just don't think gaming on stream is my thing, and maybe it's because I haven't done it in so long, and I haven't continued to do it. I haven't, like, gotten that rhythm and the groove down. Definitely could be the thing, but I was very happy to get back into a book tonight. So that's kind of a relief, Stell Tunty that she has to go stream. My sub expired. I'm pretty sure she'll be streaming tomorrow, Rexter. Okay. Patience, Grasshopper. Patience. I got my my streamer mug tonight. It's got the hype on one side, and then the sitting on a pile of books, reading a book on the other side. I gotta keep it on the warmer though, otherwise it's gonna get cold. Should be on regular time, but 20 minutes late. Yeah, we know. We know. It's expected. Anyway, looks like Mitchell's in the puzzle, so that's awesome. Good for you. Have a good time with that. I'm gonna switch us over to our reading page. And we're gonna get into it. I'm super excited. Super excited. And when our author does show up, I need to make her a VIP. I want to make sure all my authors, just like Kay, get VIP badges. So it's very important to me that they do. All right. Should I read the back of the book one more time to get us all reacquainted with what's about to go down? I think that's a good idea. That's usually the process, right? So, oh, I'm missing a light. I wondered why it was so dark in here. Whoa, there we go. OMG.
Oh my goodness. You kind human being, thank you.
Thank you, newbie, for the 20 bits. Didn't have to do that. You are ready, the Enlightenment Virus? I am. I 100% am. Wait, you've read this? You've read this. Right here. Well, that's awesome. No spoilers, please. I have not read it yet. Oh, and that link reminds me. So the link in chat, notforvanity.com. Not for Vanity is a book reviewer. It's a new partnership that I have with them. So if you have books that you want to have checked out, or you want to see what they are looking into to find out if it's a good book for you, definitely click that link. But also, they are going to be... Normally, I go out and find books, and then I go through the process of trying to figure out if it's going to be good for stream, etc., etc. They will be giving me book suggestions after they have read them. And they know my rules, you know, about the triggers and stuff like that. So they've already suggested one, and it definitely seems interesting. So we'll be looking into that a little bit closer to the time. But yeah, so go check them out, give them some love. Notforvanity.com. Okay, I am now reading the back of the book for everybody else except Brexter, because he already knows. Major Janelle Grayson didn't ask to be enlightened. Equipped with a performance-enhancing program, she was destined for success in Trust, her homeland of Bravia's brutal military force. When a routine upgrade to her program results in her enlightenment, branding her as a rogue soldier, Janelle becomes an enemy to the regime she once served. Now on the run, Janelle is tasked with finding the one person who can help her destroy the system and bring Bravia back to the modern world. An unexpected run-in with her fiancé, Jack Arrington, almost destroys all that has... Thank you. Almost destroys all that as he nearly kills her with her own sword. Only the appearance of a mysterious, hulking man saves her life. The man, Orion Dre, can help Janelle complete her mission, but something in her past could ruin everything if he finds out. So there you go. There's a little bit of information about the back, or about the book from the back. I am now opening the pages, getting that fresh crease in the book that we all like. Ooh, we have a prologue. Excellent. I'm starting a book now called The Uplift War. I like the start now, and I hope it continues. Sweet. That's awesome. I can't say I've heard of that one, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Excuse me. All right, so we've got a prologue, and then it goes straight into chapter 1. In the back of the book, it just literally goes to the end, so that's awesome. The book is 200 and... Well, let's see. If we start from the prologue, which starts on page 5, it goes to page 225. So 220 pages of story, which is fantastic. Yeah. We don't have any chapter breakdowns, so I don't know how many chapters there are in total. I could try and take a 26 chapters. Joker Blade Games. First time chatter. Hello. Welcome in. How's it going? You're just in time. We're about to start our book. And Purple, as always, as you see streamers, you can either do the / shout out, you can do the SO shout out, or you can do the new shouty. Exclamation point shouty as well. That's a fun one. So feel free to give shout outs as you see streamers come in, please. All right, here we go. We're going to start this off with the prologue for our brand new read, The Enlightment Virus. And Red Thorn's here. What's up, man? You're a friend of Purple's? Well, that's awesome. It's good to see you. A friend of Purple's is a friend of mine, so welcome in. And Red, well, gosh darn it. If you're a friend of Red's, it's questionable. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. Let's see, dive into Joker Games world where Fortnite battles meet resistance radio tunes. From toy hunting by day to slaying the Division by night. I do like the Division. They're all about the nerd gang life. That's awesome. Got some good games going there. As a friend of Red, I can confirm that. Alright, I'm getting distracted. Here we go. Prologue, page 5. The Enlightenment Virus. Janelle Grayson crawled from beneath the smoking wreckage of the overturned Jeep. With no time to assess her injuries, she took off at a limping run. Already, she heard the rumble of motors as her pursuers caught up to her. A dozen yards ahead, the land broke away to form a steep, jagged cliff. The roar of the waves against the rocks far below echoed around her. To her right, the land rose steeply to form the Corian mountain chain which cut Bravia off from the rest of the world. To her left, the road she had been following turned south and disappeared into the forest, heading toward the distant city of Veluvia. Veluvia? That's better. Veluvia. Her first thought was to head toward Veluvia, and she turned that way. But the road was long, and her pursuers would be upon her at any moment. Blood clouded her vision, and she wiped it away. Glancing beside her, I swear I can read, okay? I really can. Glancing behind her, she saw the first Jeep come into view. She took a few limping steps and turned toward her pursuers, her back to the cliff. 6 Jeeps rolled up and skidded to a stop about 20 yards from her. A dozen or so trustee soldiers exited the vehicles and marched her way. And by the way, the trustee shoulders, so it's the word trust, but the first T and the last T are both capitalized. And hi, Stunt Mama. How you doing? Hey, girl, hey. How many days is it now? 15 days? Getting excited. There's nowhere to run, Officer Grayson. Give yourself up. The command came from Lieutenant Payne. Just the day before, Janelle and her fiancé, Jack Arrington, had enjoyed a lunch with him and his wife. Today, he was ordering her to surrender. Muscles bulged as he raised a hand toward her. A slight wind tousled his unruly blonde hair, sticking out from his officer's helmet. Not many days till I see you. It's gonna be awesome. Anyway. The lieutenant was correct, of course. The trustee soldiers surrounded Janelle Grayson on 3 sides, with only the open air and a 1,000-foot drop at the sea at her back. She peeled back her lips to reveal a rebellious grin and limped back another step. Paige, how you doing, girl? Great to see you. Her good hand, the right, thank the null, went to the sword on her belt. Her left arm hung by her side, mangled in the crash during her attempted escape. She glared at the troops through a haze of red. Wiping the blood away hadn't helped. It oozed from a deep cut on her forehead in a never-ending stream. Wisps of her long blonde hair escaped the ponytail band and plastered her forehead and face with every gust of wind. I'm not turning myself in. You'll have to kill me. Janelle ignored the pain in her chest as she spoke. Probably a few broken ribs. She was frightened and in pain, but forced herself to show it. Jeepers. Not to show it. She's a tough one. She was, after all, a soldier of Trustee, the elite army whose leader ruled the whole of Bravia. Master General Tourette used his soldiers to keep the peace, and, as Janelle had come to realize, install fear and subservience. There's a word you don't see very often. In Bravia's citizens. Officer, we don't want to kill you. Come with us now and we'll make sure you get proper treatment. Liar! She screamed. The world wavered. She fought to keep her balance. The edge lay only a few steps behind her. She knew he was lying, because she'd once been in his position with a deserter not much younger than herself. Janelle was 23. She looked past the troops. An ominous cloud of black smoke rose from her overturned vehicle beyond them. A tire still spun. That's what caught her eye, and she laughed. Funny that it was still trying to get away. You're suffering greatly, the lieutenant continued, drawing her attention back to him. I know you're confused. I am not confused, she replied, her voice quiet, almost as if speaking to herself, almost as if she was trying to convince herself. You don't know what's happening to you. Please, let us take you back to the compound. Talk to Tourette. Tourette's a liar and a bastard. Her voice rose with vehemence. Her memory tried to surface in her mind, something about their glorious leader, something Tourette had done to her. But she couldn't quite grasp it. The vision of a golden dagger flitted through her mind, and then it was gone. She remembered other things, things shown to her. Other things Tourette had done. Ways he had used his troops for intimidation and even murder. I know what's going on now. I know what he's done, and I can't support that. Payne's face turned an ashy gray to match his uniform. You don't know what you're saying. Please, Major. Janelle. I don't want to have my men shoot you. Hey, Mama House Gaming. How are you? It's good to see you. She took another step backward. Pain ripped through her right leg. This time, she couldn't ignore the pain. She winced, sucking in her breath. Damn, that hurt. She wouldn't be surprised if the leg was fractured. Seeing her distress, Payne jumped at the opportunity. Carlos, Jones, take her. The two men advanced. Janelle wiped another gush of blood from her eyes. She eased into a fighting stance. Her hand hovered over her sword. She'd lost her personal firearm in the crash, but she wasn't worried. Even in her current state, she knew she could take these two privates. Even the lieutenant, 2 ranks below her, wouldn't be able to touch her in hand-to-hand combat. Her years of training and her program updates made her skills more advanced than any of them, even with her broken bones. A smile spread across her lips as the program initiated her battle sequence. It always gave her confidence, something she had never seemed to have had before becoming a soldier. Come on, boys, she said. Let's jam. If they thought she was a weak target, she proved them wrong. She didn't even bother with her sword. 2 quick jabs to their throats fell both men. They collapsed, gasping and clawing at the broken windpipes. I will not surrender, she said, though at the moment she did not have a plan on how to get out of this predicament. Payne sighed. His ashy face now gleamed with sweat. Then you leave me with no choice. I respect you, Officer Grayson, and I was hoping it wouldn't come to this. He gave a signal with his hand. The remaining men raised their rifles. Janelle took another step backward. Pebbles slipped under her boot and rained off the cliff. Last chance, Payne said. His eyes pleaded with her to surrender. She looked behind her. Still nothing but empty air. She had the strange feeling she was waiting for something, but she knew not what. One final time. Come back with us, Payne said. Fall. The unexpected push in her mind startled her. A voice not her own spoke again, harsh and alien. Fall. Trust in me. She looked at the troops, their rifles at the ready, waiting for the lieutenant's signal. Some took aim, others just stood there with their butts of their rifles resting against their shoulders. None of them, it seemed, wanted to do this. Why force their hand? With a silent, 2-fingered salute, Major Janelle Grayson stepped backward off the cliff, and she fell. So that's the prologue. There you go. That's how it all opens up. I can actually see this playing out in my head as a movie. It's kind of cool. How... Hi, Stop Mama's Mama. Sorry you're late. You should be. I want 10 push-ups right now. And I want proof you did them, okay? just whacked my other microphone that I use for work. How are you, Paige? It's great to see you. How are things? Stump Mama's Mama, I'm going to see you in like 2 weeks, and I am very excited. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I'm also kind of, and this is unusual for me, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to the drive there as well. Just me, the road, 7 hours or so of driving. I mean, yeah. Normally I don't like road trips, but I think because it's just me by myself. I'm just kind of going at my own pace with my own thoughts and my own tunes and everything else. I'm kind of looking forward to it. But yeah, anyway, I'm okay, surviving. How are you? Ready for Thanksgiving? I'm doing all right. I too am surviving. And am I ready for Thanksgiving? Sure. Why not? I bet that'll be a nice drive. I hope so. I've already got my oil changed. And since I'm driving on a Sunday, on Saturday, I'm going to take my portable air pressure blower-uppy thingy and double check my tire pressures just to make sure they are on point. And then I'll be good to go. Oh, and I'll need gas too. I'm going to get gas. Oh, by the way, before we move on to chapter 1, fun news. I don't have it yet. I won't actually have it until like the end of January, sometime in there. But I'm getting a tattoo. I already have the deposit down. The date is set. And, yeah, it's happening. What are you getting and where? I'm getting a smiley face right on my left cheek. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not getting a smiley face on my left butt cheek. That's a terrible idea. I'll see if I can... I don't know if it'll show up with the green screen, but let me see if I can pull it up here. So it won't be this picture exactly, but this is the inspiration. Pretends not to have a smiley face on her left butt cheek. Whatever. It's not exactly this, but it'll look similar to this.
Is it hot in here? Are you hot? I mean, you are hot. I mean...
Killa, I can see you, remember? You calm down. But it's going to go on my right arm, like right on the bicep area, and it'll look like this. So there you go. A combination flag of America and England because of my story. And I'm very excited for it. So yeah, it'll be a pretty good size. It'll cover up almost the entire bicep, I think, by the time it's all done. So I'm super nervous about it. Not gonna lie. Because I've never gotten a tattoo before. I've taken a long time trying to put this all together. My original tattoo idea, since we're on the subject, was to use the imaging that I've had done with my heart and then have an actual heart tattooed where my heart is. However, and not just like a love heart that you would see on Valentine's, like the actual image of my heart tattooed on my chest, like realistic. But because of surgeries and the possibilities of it getting ruined, I decided against it. So I'm doing this instead. Tattoos on my bucket list as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I get that, but the time you've taken is a good thing, and that spot doesn't really hurt. Well, that's good. I appreciate to know that. You want another one as well? Yeah, you'll have to let me see your tattoos, Stunt Papa, once I see you in person. IRL. Should be good. Lots of meat on that spot. Yeah. Shading's gonna be the hardest part, but you're a champ. Thanks. You'll let me touch it? Oh. Stunt Mama, you'll have to leave the room at that point. Is it hot in here? Doing your own reading stream to a child. Wonderful. Love it. 13 more. I already have 2. Sheesh. That's a lot. I've heard some people say that, once you get inked for the first time, it can become a bit of a fascination and you want more. But we'll see. I gotta get the first one done. So, bit of an addiction, yeah. We shall see. I can't wait to get mine. Need to make a little farther on my journey first. You've seen what I'm getting, I think. You're gonna have to remind me, newbie, because if you have, I don't remember. But I'd like to see it again if I haven't, or if I have even. What it is, where you're gonna put it, etc. Mama House Gaming has 1. Awesome. I have the Family Masquerade coming from Amazon this week. Yay! That's awesome. I wanted to get back on the table immediately after my first one was done. I don't know what that old person's skin looks good with tattoos. Oh, give it a rest. Psh, you and your words that aren't kind. Everyone's skin looks good with tattoos. That's what I'm hearing. All right. So that's my news. So yeah, it won't be happening until the end of January. Kind of like a birthday gift to myself, if you will, because by the time it's healed and everything, it'll be right around my birthday. So I'm looking forward to it. Should be good. That being said, we are now going to start reading chapter 1. So we did the prologue. ! Virus. If you want to check out the author of this book and many others. Chapter 1 is titled literally just Chapter 1, but it has a subtitle. Anyways, yours will look great. Thank you. I can't wait to see yours. Or what it will be. The subtitle for this chapter is 6 Months Later. Here we go. The barking sounded closer. Janelle Grayson knew she had to get off the trail. She could think of no other alternative. She had to take to the trees. Damn the dogs, she said. Dogs, this is capital D, capital G, by the way. What was it with Tourette and his crazy capitalization anyway? Dogs, trustee. Super, my guy. Thank you for the sub. 14 months, you crazy human. What are we at now? 16? Thank you, my guy. I appreciate you. Super SB, everybody. The kindest Canadian you'll ever meet. Don't tell his brothers I said that, because they are also kind. Thank you, Redthorn. let's see. Where were we? We just started the first chapter. No, please tell them. All right, I will. Next time I see Rhino and Zarias, I will tell them. Let's see. Oh, what was it with Tourette and his crazy capitalization anyway? Dogs, trustee, whatever. It wasn't like he had any special reason for spelling them that way. A DOG howled in the night. They had caught her scent. Dogs were cybernetic canines implanted with rudimentary programs for tracking and scenting. Fearless and practically unstoppable, they were a force to be reckoned with if one ever crossed paths with them. She was not in the mood to deal with them this night. She pulled a thin silver chain from inside her shirt. A black scale, glowing with a slight peacock iridescence, dangled from it. A gift from her savior. She cupped it in her left hand. Jinshin, she whispered. Delios tu emit. I believe that was French. Parlez-vous français? The scale shined brighter. She closed her hand around it, reducing the light to a soft glow. Her body became lighter, and she ascended into the pine branches high above the ground. She darted from tree to tree, ignoring the needles cutting her face and hands. The tiny wounds itched and bled until her healing program took care of them. She traveled through the trees until the barking faded into the nothingness. Then she traveled even farther. The forest seemed endless beneath her. Damn the dogs, she said again. Damn them and damn Trustee for sending them after me. Now I'm fucking lost. At least, she supposed she was lost. She wasn't sure where she was going. After 3 months of rehabilitation and hiding with the dragon Jinshin on an island off the southern coast of Bravia, hundreds of miles away from Trustee headquarters, she spent the last 3 months with only one purpose on her mind: to find Chris Jordison. Who Chris Jordison was, Janelle wasn't sure. She only knew that was her prime objective after her enlightenment. Find Chris Jordison. It would be all clear after that, or some such bullshit. The breeze rustling through the treetops cooled her hot skin. Janelle glanced at her hands. The program was hard at work healing the cuts and scrapes from the trees. The program. The only good thing she got from Trustee. She wasn't sure what it was, only that microprocessors had been wired to various parts of her brain to enhance her senses, strength, agility, and healing factor, among other things. Oh, and nanites. Something to do with nanites. She often felt it initialize when it was needed. A slight humming vibration moved behind her eyes. Others could see it as well, as a green glow that started at the corner of her right eye and moved across to the corner of her left eye. Sometimes it would flash behind both eyes. When it was idle, the program was noticeable as an ever-present low hum in her head. Every member of Trustee was implanted with the program when they turned 15. That's a long time to have something implanted in your head. She absently scratched behind her left ear. There, a small implanted port allowed access to her system via a needle-thin connector. Updates and maintenance were performed through this connection. Soldiers received updates at rank increases or as newer versions of the program became available. Maintenance was performed only as needed, which was rare, for the system was self-sustaining. Lurk, I'm being summoned? No worries. When one is summoned, one must respond. While many program responses were automatic, some could be manually activated with a thought or motion. Janelle initiated her vision enhancement sequence with a simultaneous blink and look to the lower left. She used it to survey the treetops in the moonlight. It didn't take long to spot a clearing a quarter-mile away. She stayed in the trees and leapt from branch to branch like a nimble squirrel until she came to the clearing. Huh, stunt mama, I didn't know you were in this. That's funny. There, she floated down and knelt on a lower branch, hand on her sword, and surveyed the area. It appeared to be empty. A rapid stream snaked its way along the shadows bordering the clearing on the opposite side. The clearing wasn't very wide, maybe 10 yards, but it was 3 times as long. She would have to be careful and stay alert. Jinshin, Dalios, ex emit. The lightness left her, and Janelle jumped down. She crept to the stream, looking in all the directions for anything unusual. Open areas made her nervous, especially at night, where the shadows could hide things from even her enhanced vision. A thorough survey revealed all to be quiet and empty. She knelt beside the raging stream and cupped some water with her hand. The stream ran fast and deep here. The cold shock of the water was invigorating on her hands and face. After all, the dogs had brought her out of a sound sleep earlier. She drank a little water, letting the refreshing chill slide over her tongue and down her throat. Then she used the hem of her drab olive shirt to wipe away the sweat, grime, and blood from her face. A twig snapped behind her. Janelle swung around on her feet with her sword drawn. Her battle sequence flashed on. Whoa! Wait a minute, Janelle. It's me. Her program paused. What the... Jack? She barely made out his silhouette in the night shadows of the surrounding forest, even with her vision enhanced. Is it really you? Remaining in the shadows, he laughed. That wonderful, deep yet boyish laugh that always sent a thrill through her. Yes, of course it's me. Been a long time, babe. It's good to see you're still alive. Reports were you were killed by a dragon. Reports were obviously wrong, she said. She had to stop herself from running into his arms. He's the enemy now, she reminded herself. He took a step into the clearing. She held her ground, sword still drawn, even though his demeanor was not menacing. His own officer sword remained sheathed. Gods, she couldn't remember Jack Arrington looking so good. His ebony hair was short and neat. The program had done much for his strength. His arm muscles bulged from under his black shirt sleeves, yet not so much as to make him a muscle-bound idiot, as he called the powerhouses of Trustee, those who trained for heavy artillery. But it was his olive-toned face that sent a delicious chill up her spine, yet also made her sad. Something in the last 6 months had hardened his features, chiseled them. He developed creases around his eyes and mouth. Probably from frowning and glaring a lot, she thought. The brown irises of his eyes glowed from the intensity. Something was gone, though. He'd lost the innocence of youth. Trustee did that to you. It stole your youth from you at a young age. I missed you so much, he said. He spread his arms. Come here. She almost took a step, almost ran to him. How much she wanted to. She'd missed his warm embrace. But she's... Sees the DM coming in with the raid. Thank you so much for coming here, thinking of me. I appreciate that. We are knee-deep in our first chapter of our new book, The Enlightment Virus. Midget Queen. Hi, lady. How are you? How you doing? It's great to see you. Thank you for coming in here. Moi, just a simple reading streamer. All right then. Thank you. Sorry, just sending a quick message. Well, thanks so much again for coming over here. How is today going? Today is going very well, thank you. Not bad at all. We're getting into a new book. It's very interesting so far. I'm liking what we're reading. And yeah. Hopefully your stream was good. What were you... Sorry, I'm just looking for... Hold on. I need to know what you were doing. Starfield, of course. Well, that's fantastic. If you are not following Seize the DM, please go do so. Please, please, please. Well, I hope Starfield treated you well. Thanks again for thinking of me. Could have gone anywhere. But you're picking me. Just me? Okay. We're in a very interesting moment here of Janelle, if she's gonna jump into this guy's arms or not, because he's technically the enemy. Let's see. Right. She'd missed his warm embrace. But no, she couldn't. Jack, she said, her leg trembling to take that step anyway. She couldn't figure out what to say. She hadn't seen him since the morning of the day she'd been enlightened 6 months ago. Thank the null he hadn't had a member of the initial party sent to hunt her down. She would have given herself to him then and there. Shh, he said. He took another step closer. Don't say anything. Just come here. She shook her head. I can't. I'm sorry. The trembling in her leg moved up to her torso and vibrated through her sword. Tears of desperation welled. His arms dropped to his side. Why not, babe? What's wrong? You're still with Trustee. So? I'm worried about you, Janelle. Come back with me, please. I miss you so much. She started to reply that she missed him. That she missed him too, started to fall for his ruse, but clamped her mouth shut. She shook her head. Show no weakness, she reminded herself. Even if you don't feel strong, you must act strong. Tourette will be so happy to know you're alive. Tourette? She narrowed her eyes. Tourette's the whole reason I'm not coming back. You don't understand what's really going on, Jack. What he's done. What he did to me, she thought. But shut that fractured memory down. Nothing is going on, he added, a laugh of disbelief. You've been misled. It's the same as it's always been. That's the problem. The way it's always been is wrong. What Tourette's done is wrong. What do you mean by that? What? Oh, and our author's here. Hey, Jennifer. Sorry I'm late. I got mixed up and thought 8. No worries. We're just getting into chapter 1. And C's, thank you for giving Joker a subscription. That was super kind of you. Let me edit the push-up count before I forget. What? And Super giving our author a sub. Dude, thank you so much. 16, so now we're at 26. I'm going to have to do some push-ups after this chapter. Thank you to you both for being so generous. I really appreciate that. I love it when my community is subbed so they don't have to deal with ads and you could just enjoy the book and everything else without being interrupted. I wish I could disregard ads entirely.
Oh my goodness. You kind human being, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the 100 bits. Now I need to edit the count again. Okay. At least for one push-up, I can just do push-up instead of edit count. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. Y'all are being too kind now. Just calm down. Take a breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I'm back. Welcome back. And Amlas is adding to the push-up count. Of course you are. Okay. Well, now we're definitely going to do some push-ups because we're at 37. And some bicep curls. Why not? Just, let's throw that in there too. What the heck? All right, well, hold on. We have a few pages left and some hammer curls. What, is there anything else anybody wants to add? Sorry, had to. Did you though? Did you have to? Just curious. We just like to watch you do push-ups. And I just killed a full weight routine and Misery Loves Company. Oh my god. And force a hydrate. I can do that. See?
Oh my goodness. You
Super.
kind human being, thank you.
What are you doing? Dude. Thank you for the 1,000 bits. You did not have to do that. Y'all need to just chill out. I'm a giver. Well, give me chocolate. If you're gonna give something, give me chocolate. That's all I'm saying. Thank you guys for starting the hype train. Can we make sure we get shout outs, please? Again, I just want to make sure everybody's following these people, because you need to. All right, let me finish the chapter, and then we'll get to the push-ups. We'll get to the hammer curls and the bicep curls, and then I'll take an hour break so I can breathe again. Okay, sounds good. Okay. let's see. Where were we? Oh yeah, that's the problem. That's the way it's always been, or the way it's always been is wrong. What Tourette's doing is wrong. So we're on page 15, by the way. What do you mean by that? Tourette and the program. Us. Our memories. What he's made us do. Look. I don't have time to explain. I have to go. She turned away, to leap over the stream and run, but he was faster. In an instant, he was beside her. He caught her arm. What's your hurry, officer? Jack, let me go. I don't think so. His eyes flashed green as his program switched on. Janelle watched the flash as it moved across his eyes. She tried to pull her arm free, but his grip was like iron. She raised her sword. Let me go, she said again, authority in her voice. Don't make me kill you. He laughed. You can't kill me. I won't let you. He twisted her arm so hard it brought her to one knee. She yelped and drove her sword into the ground to keep her balance. Her program initiated its battle sequence. Strength surged through her. It's interesting that you still have it, he said. It wasn't disabled when you became enlightened. Let me go, she said through gritted teeth. He twisted her arm further and pulled her out of range of her sword. I can't do that. I have my orders. Bring you in or kill you. You wouldn't. Don't tempt me. Who tweaked your program? I can't tell you that. He twisted her arm more. Tears sprang to her eyes. I must know, he said. No. She eyed her sword through the tears. It was just out of reach. I don't know. He twisted harder. She cried out. The tears tumbled from her eyes. He lifted her face to see his with his free hand. Don't cry, he said. His thumb brushed a tear away, but he sneered at her. I'm not crying. He chuckled. You are. He let go of her face. Janelle heard him slip his sword from his sheath. She struggled, ignoring the pain in her arm, which had nearly reached the breaking point. She pushed her knee deeper into the earth and thrust her free arm out. Her fingers brushed against the hilt of her sword. She wrenched it from the soil. She swung the katana at him. He ducked, letting go of her arm, and she parted only air. The green flash in his eyes distracted her. Seizing the opportunity, he drove his sword into her chest. She let out a bloody choke. Jack pushed her backwards, knocking her off her feet, and did not stop until he had pinned her to the earth with his blade, driving it all the way to the hilt. He was on top of her now, their faces only inches apart. His eyes glowed with battle rage. There would be no reasoning with him now. Yet still, she had to try. Jack! She tried to speak, but her right lung filled with blood. Last chance, he growled. Come back with me, or die right here. I can't, she tried to say, but the sword blocked her words, her breath. Blood erupted from her mouth. She clawed at the blade buried in her chest, which felt like it had been lit on fire. I can't die here, she thought. My mission has barely begun. He lifted himself off of her and stood towering over her. In his right hand, he held her sword. She hadn't even noticed him grab it. He looked down at her. Pain filled her eyes. His true self showed below the green glow. I love you, he said, but I have my orders. I cannot disobey. I must do this. She mouthed the words, Jack, don't. She pleaded with him with her eyes. A cough racked her body. Her fingers bled from clawing at his blade. Her fractured thoughts went to her pendant, but Jinshin could not help her now. She had not seen the majestic black dragon since leaving the island. Jack raised her sword, the sword of an officer of trustee. A sacred, single-edged katana bestowed only on those skilled and cunning enough to survive the rigors and tests of the program officer updates. His hand rested against her personalized handguard, decorated with a winged, fire-breathing dragon, and her name written in ancient Baravian script. She also saw the gargoyle on his own handguard, protruding from her chest. He continued, I will allow you to die with honor, Officer Janelle Grayson. I will allow you to die by the blade of your own sword. Jack, she whispered. She reached for him with bloodied hands. A tear leaked from the corner of her eye. He positioned the sword over her throat. She grabbed at the blade, but he batted her hands away with it. She stared into his eyes. Pain and hesitation stared back at her. How pitiful I must look right now to him, she thought. I'm so ashamed. Jack, I love you so much. I'm sorry you have to do this. Her hands dropped to her side. A whimper escaped him, and she echoed it with one of her own. He furrowed his brow and gripped her sword tighter. Sweat beaded on his forehead. A drop dangled on the end of his nose and plummeted toward her. Around them, the forest held its breath. A moving shadow to her left caught Janelle's attention. Jack saw it too, for he turned in its direction. The shadow moved lightning quick. There was a flash of moonlight. Jack screamed. A brutal force knocked him sideways. Something thudded on the ground beside her. Janelle turned her head to stare at Jack's severed hand, still holding her sword. She couldn't suck in the air to scream. She heard a splash and looked over to see Jack land face first into the stream. A gigantic man in a trench coat and machine boots. Shh, son of a... That wasn't nice. That made me scared. Okay. That right there was scarier than the movie I just watched. Made me jump. I think I missed something. A little background info. The novel is inspired by characters from Final Fantasy 8 and 10. Well, that's cool. And it was my very first published novel. Awesome. Be right back. My turn to read to the kiddo. Okay, Stunt Mama. Alright, Anonymous, who played the dog barking. Identify yourself. Although I'm pretty sure I already have an idea of who did that. I know where you live. Okay. We're almost done with the chapter. Please remain calm. Thank you, Super. Y'all are like Sour Patch Kids. First you're sweet, and then you're sour. Over the rushing of blood in her eyes, she heard Jack cry for mercy. The other man, what a monstrosity he was, brought his axe down in an arc, silencing the cry of the man who would have killed her, the man who loved her. The giant man booted Jack still from into the swift current, still form into the swift current. Then he turned. She watched him walk toward her. He had the swagger of a samurai, with his immense weapon resting on his shoulder. Fine predicament you've gotten yourself into, girlie, he said. He stared at her over dark-rimmed glasses. She wondered why someone would wear dark lenses at night. He bent over her and grasped the sword embedded in her chest. He placed a boot on her thigh. This'll only hurt a moment. Before she could protest, the stranger wrenched the blade free. She cried out as new pain blazed through her in a blue heat. Then everything went black. And that was chapter 1. What an excellent chapter. I gotta say, Jennifer, I'm loving the story so far. The prologue was really cool, set everything up nicely. Chapter 1, mysterious and exciting. Very curious as to where this is going to go. But for now, I have to do some frickin' push-ups. Not to mention some curls. Alright, we'll do the push-ups first. Okay. Thank you. Holy cow. We didn't get all 48, but that's alright. Holy buckets. Whew. Get a good stretch in. Whew. Well, I feel nice and strong. Whew. So that's a plus. And now I'm really hot. Oh, gotta do more stretches. My arms are stiff. Jeepers. All right, thank you for the hype train and the bits and the subs to help all of that come together. I appreciate it. Keeps me feeling young. Whew. All right. Who's ready for chapter 2? Awesome. We'll read it next time. Goodbye. Just kidding. Okay. But the guy wear dark glasses so that you can't tell when he uses his power? Ooh, that's an interesting thought. I haven't put any brain power into that yet, but could be. That's an interesting theory. Nope. Okay, just kidding. Good guess, but no. Direct from the author herself. Okay. Chapter 2. We're on page 20, by the way. ! Virus, if you're checking this out behind the scenes. Here we go. Falling. Jeez. Let's start that again. Blah, blah, blah. Words. Falling. Janelle was falling. If she looked above her, she saw the trusty soldiers start staring down at her, their faces twisted into expressions of horror and awe. Then they were blocked out by a tremendous shadow. Great claws wrapped themselves around her and carried her out and away, over the sea. She saw the water racing below her, a turquoise and white foamy blur. She saw the shadow of the great beast that held her. A dragon's shadow followed them, skimming across the blue. The dragon turned, arcing out toward open water, and its shadow followed. One of the razor-tipped claws slipped and pierced her chest. Janelle cried out in pain and jolted awake. She gasped and threw her eyes open. She still felt the claws wrapped around her. Jinshin, she thought. I was dreaming of the day Jinshin rescued me. She tried to sit up, but a sharp pain in her chest stopped her. The same pain she'd felt in her dream. Or in the dream, sorry. She looked around. Where was she? Some sort of hut? Faint light. Dawn filtered through a window. Hi, Gemma. We just did some exercises, okay? You're gonna have to wait. I am sweating buckets. Good grief. But welcome in. Oh, bicep and hammer. Okay. Very good. We'll get those at the end of the stream. I just did some workouts. You missed the whole thing. I did 40 push-ups, bicep curls, and hammer curls. What had happened? Sleep still clouded her memory. She ached all over. Her right shoulder and elbow throbbed. Her chest was on fire, as if she'd been stabbed. The memories came flooding back, fleeing from the dogs, dropping to the stream, trying to resist Jack. He'd pinned her to the ground, ready to kill her with her own sword. But he had intervened, the giant stranger. Had he truly killed Jack? Loving my new job and woot, good for you. Well, that's awesome. Congrats on the new gig. That's great. She noticed a quiet snoring that rose in pitch for a moment. She stared in the direction from which it came, near the front of the hut. The stranger lay sprawled over a table in what appeared to be a small kitchen of the hut. Empty sake bottles littered the table and the surrounding floor. Passed out drunk. Some savior. He didn't look so tall now. She remembered little after he pulled the sword from her chest. Mostly she remembered the pain. He'd carried her to the rundown cabin. She remembered him stomping through the darkness. She remembered a meadow. Was the cabin built near its edge? She also had a slight memory of him stripping her of her bloody clothes. Then nothing more. Janelle peeked under the moth-eaten blanket that covered her. She wore nothing but strips of cloth and her underwear. Blood seeped through the bandages over her wound. She felt the program working to repair the damage. If she concentrated, she could hear the humming behind her eyes. She tried not to think about that, though. It hurt her head to do so. Instead, she switched her attention back to the man with the samurai swagger. Of course, samurai hadn't been around for hundreds of years, but the manner of walking was like the old films she and Jack used to watch during late-night marathons at the trustee compound. With the axe slung over his shoulder, he reminded her of the samurai in those old movies. To her knowledge, the earlier troop maneuvers and procedures of Trustee were based on these mighty warriors, a program that wasn't replaced until Tourette came into power some 20-odd years ago and revamped the entire system. The only reminder left was the sword of the Trustee officer, a katana, razor sharp and perfectly balanced. Officers relied on these elegant weapons more than rifles of ordinary troops. She saw the stranger's axe braced against the wall behind him, by a decrepit door that led outside. The axe stood nearly as tall as the stranger did. With that axe and his silhouette exaggerated by his trench coat, no wonder he seemed like a giant last night. The stranger snorted in his sleep, drawing her attention back to him. Short, dark hair, peppered with gray, tousled around his face. His oval, darkened glasses were askew on his nose. Janelle made out a jagged scar over his left eye. She wondered if that was why he wore the glasses. He groaned, interrupting her thoughts, and lifted his head. "Ah," he grunted. "You're awake. So, it's true." What? You're from Trustee, he said, his words filled with drunken disgust. He stood on shaky legs and steadied himself with a hand on the table. I got your sword. It's an officer's sword. He picked something up off the floor and he tossed it on her bed. Janelle remained silent, afraid to speak. She sat up, holding her wound, and pulled the blankets around her. She stared at her sword lying on the bed by her feet, but made no move to take it. It's yours, isn't it? He asked. Well, are you going to say anything? He took a step and fell flat on his face. She peered over the bed. Are you okay? He lifted his head. His glasses were even more askew. Fine, he said. You're not as drunk as I think I am. And passed out again. That sounds like something I would say completely sober. Janelle snatched up her sword and laid back down. She clutched it to her injured breast. By the Null, I've been rescued by a drunkard. Sometime later, Janelle woke to the smell and the sound of something frying. Her stomach growled painfully. The healing sequence was taking its toll on her. She needed food now. When was the last time she'd eaten? Food was hard to come by for a deserter. Her chest ached as she sat up, but not as much as last time.
Okay. Fuck it!
And I'm back. Welcome back. You missed all of the workouts. I did 40 push-ups, hammer curls, and bicep curls, and you missed it all. Just want you to know. The stranger had changed her bandages. Less blood soaked through this time. The program was healing her well. She gazed into the kitchen. Noon sunlight filtered through the window by the table. The back of the stranger was facing her as he bent over an old, rusty stove. I'm sorry, reading Harry Potter takes a bit. Ooh, you're reading Harry Potter. Hello, Harry. She coughed. He turned and stared at her over his dark glasses. Awake, I see, he said. Hungry? I don't have much. Not used to having visitors. Whatever you have is fine, she said. Her voice was barely above a whisper. She cleared her throat and repeated the sentence. He nodded. I'll bring it to you. No need to get up. I need to try to stand, she said, throwing the blankets back. She noticed the pain in her shoulder and elbow was gone. Only a little stiffness remained. She stretched her arm. So my program can adjust its healing parameter. The sudden urge to pee overcame her. Also, do you have a bathroom? He grunted and pointed to a small door across from the foot of the bed. Wait, he said, and made his way to her, snatching up an old coat on his way. He moved quick for his size, through the clutter of the hut. There was junk everywhere. Cover yourself, girlie. She wrapped the coat around herself and attempted to stand. The coat fell to her knees. Its mildewy scent made her sneeze, which caused pain to flare through her chest. The room tilted. Janelle would have fallen if he hadn't caught and steadied her. That wasn't good, she said, embarrassed. He grunted and went back to the stove, leaving her standing there. No need to help me. I'll be fine, she mumbled under her breath. She hobbled to the tiny bathroom and closed the door. A quick glance around told her this wasn't the most sanitary bathroom she'd ever been in, but she had no choice but to use the yellow and stained toilet. She had to pee badly, especially after that sneeze. After flushing, in which she had to hold down the handle for the meager trickle of water to wash her waste away, she took a moment to examine herself in the rusty mirror over the sink. Her hair stuck out in disarray from the ponytail she kept it in. Her face looked clean enough, though. The stranger may have cleaned it well, tending to her wound. Or cleaned it while tending to her wound. The thought creeped her out. She turned on the faucet, but no water came out. A little frustrated, she left the bathroom and made her way to the kitchen. The table was more like a picnic table, with a small bench on either side. It sat perpendicular to the only window in the house. To the right of the table was the kitchen sink and stove, where the stranger was busy fixing their meal. A small icebox jammed between the stove and the wall. She noticed the sake bottles were gone. The window over the table looked out onto an open, dilapidated porch. Beyond stretched the meadow, as she remembered it from the night before. She washed her hands in the sink, then slid onto the closer bench and rested her head in her hands. She hadn't felt this weak since she fell off the cliff 6 months ago, the day Jin Shin had carried her off to his island. The day she'd been enlightened. Something clunked on the table in front of her, and Janelle jerked up her head. Her wound ached, but the food smelled delicious. Her stomach growled again. "I didn't mean to scare you," the stranger said. He sat across from her with a plate of his own. "It's okay," she said. Before eating, she took a glance at her bandage. No new blood. "How long ago did you change them?" He shrugged. "Maybe an hour before you awoke, I guess." "How'd the wound look?" "Clean. It's healing good." She nodded and said, "Thank you for saving my life." He shoved a fork full of food into his mouth and grunted. She stuck her fork into what she knew was potatoes. She wasn't sure about the meat. It looked like dark, stringy chicken. "Veluvian rat and potatoes," he said, grinning over a mouthful of food. "I've heard Veluvian had a fishy taste because of the ocean. I prefer Felsparian mountain bread." She smiled. Veluvia and Felspar were Bravia's two major trade cities. Veluvia was built on the western shore, a little over halfway down the coast. It was famous for its colorful imported fabrics and rice production from paddies farther south. Felspar in the northeast traded coal and crops from nearby coal town and the farmland of the Harvest Plains. They imported exotic foods from the other locations. He raised an eyebrow and grunted. "Can't fool you, can I?" "Some kind of chicken?" she guessed after trying a bite of the meat. "Close. Wild duck." "Ah, I've never had duck. It's quite good." He tipped his head. They ate in silence for a few minutes. She stole glances his way, not wanting to stare, but curious about him. He looked to be in his 40s. His skin had a slight gray pallor. His eyes were red-rimmed. He almost looked dead, but it was probably from his drinking. She saw the scar over his left eye in the sunlight, which he squinted against despite the sunglasses. The scar looked old. It started right above his eyebrow and ended 3 inches down his cheek. The eye itself was a milky, cataract gray. She wondered what had happened. He noticed her staring and pushed his glasses farther up his nose. So, why'd that guy try to kill you? A pang hit her heart. Jack, she thought. She pushed her food around with her fork. She wasn't hungry anymore. He was ordered to, she said, staring at a rather large spot of pepper on her potatoes. She flicked it off. Did you kill him? Did I? Yes, pretty sure I did. Pretty sure or absolutely sure? She had to know. Look, I severed his hand and nearly cut him in two. I don't think he could be any deader. Janelle nodded once. That was all she needed to know. She took another tiny bite of food. No longer had any taste. She set her fork on her plate. I'm sorry, she said. It's really good, but I'm not hungry anymore. She pushed away from the table. I just need more rest. What was he to you? The word stung her heart. She shot him a glance. No one. She stumbled back to the bed. She sat on the edge, facing the back of the hut, and covered her face with her hands, elbows resting on her thighs. Tears threatened. Why had the program chosen her? Why had she been enlightened? It wasn't fair. She had never felt so lost. She heard the stranger move dishes around. He walked her way. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked that. None of my business and all that. She held up her hand and sighed. He was my fiancé, but he would have killed me if you hadn't come when you did. Don't think I'm angry at you. She managed a weak smile. I owe you my life, Mr. She paused as he had yet to tell her his name. He stood there a moment before saying, with reluctance, Dre. Orion Dre. Just call me Orion. Orion, I'm Janelle Grayson, formerly Major Grayson. I'm truly grateful for what you did. Orion grunted a nod. He started to turn around, but stopped and looked back at her. Let me ask you one thing, he said. Orion. Oh, okay, thank you. Orion. Are you still with Trustee? Because if you are, we'll have to ask you to leave. I'll not leave Trustee scum in my I'll not have Trustee scum in my home. Janelle's jaw dropped at the sudden change in his demeanor. His words were filled with such hatred. It took her a moment to collect herself enough to answer. I'm no longer welcome in Trustee, nor do I want to be, if that answers your question. But you were a soldier. An officer, yes? She stared at him with eyes of steel. But you already know that, and I will leave if I'm not welcome. I don't wish to endanger the lives of others with my mission. If he was curious about her mission, he showed no sign of it. Instead, he asked, "Just where do you stand?" "Against Trustee, if that's what you mean." Orianne nodded and returned to the kitchen. He opened the icebox and uncorked a bottle. Sake, for sure. She slipped under the blankets, weary yet unsettled. Her sword lay on the bed. She clutched it to her. The way Orian's demeanor had changed so suddenly was frightening. Who was he really? And what had happened to him? If he hated Trustee so much, why had he saved her? Would he turn on her and kill her as he killed Jack? Jack. A lump formed in her throat as he thought of her beloved dead. She tried to swallow it, but it only triggered her eyes to well with tears. Damn you, Jack. Why did you have to be the one to come after me? She squeezed her eyes shut, but it didn't stop the tears. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is chapter 2. Well then, the mystery man has been revealed. And a mystery he is, because he doesn't like Trustee, but yet he knew she was or could have been, and yet saved her anyway. I guess the question now is why? Why save her? Could have just killed them both. This is a good one. I agree. I agree. Given the time, though.
More!
Killa is on an intermission right now, which is why she can mess with my stream. I still see you. I can't wait to see it all play out for you. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. Yes, hi, I see you. Let's see, it's 8:45 streamer time. I know I owe 8 more push-ups. That's right. 8 more push-ups, bicep curls, and hammer curls. So we'll do those, hopefully. My arms don't give out. And then we'll find someone to raid. Okay? The puzzle will stay up. I see you're almost done with it, so good job. Keep that going. Okay, let's do the workouts.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better!
And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the rider's name was Death.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
You guys suck. I just want you to know that. Good night, Kay. Thank you for being here. I did all the extra bicep curls and hammer curls and push-ups. I'm strong. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Well, that was fantastic. Good book. Good workout. Couple of good workouts. Okay. It's time to go raid before you guys do something else crazy. All right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me tonight. For the subs, the bits, the push-ups, the curls, of both kinds, and all of the fun in between. I appreciate you all. I can't wait to get back to this book on, what is today? Sunday? It'll either be Thursday or the following Sunday. There's a basketball game coming up. I think it's this Thursday. So I won't be here for that. So if I'm not on this Thursday, you know why. I won't be in the building, so to speak. But either way, can't wait to get back into this read. Hey, Richard Loves Music. Hey there, first time here. I must have heard you from David on the air. That is correct. Good to see you. Unfortunately, we're just finishing. But thank you for coming in. So like I said, if I'm not here Thursday, it's because I'm gone at a basketball game. So we'll be back on Sunday. Either way, looking forward to getting back into the book. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and have a great night.
Stream is over.